At right guard, number 71, a 6'2", 225-pound senior, Devin Brenner. At wide receiver, number 6, a 5'9", 160-pound senior, Bo Beavers. At wide receiver, number 1, a 6'3", 165-pound senior, Harry Huners. At wide receiver, number 2, a 6'1", 180-pound senior, Stam Stucco. At wide receiver, number 17, a 5'11", 185-pound senior, Zach Riddle. At running back, number 20, a 6'1", 210-pound senior, Tanner Payton. And at quarterback, number 10, 5'11", 170-pound senior, Tegan Flemgen. Assistant coaches for the Knights, Shannon Poppinga, Vinny Olson, Aaron Beavers, Brian Hermanson, Barry Nagel, Alex Anderson, Seth Daughters, Greg McKilstry, Peyton Riggs, Austin Wagner, and the head coach of the Knights, Jason Poppinga. Let's meet the cheerleaders for Brandon Valley. Espen Bagari, Josie Bowers, Kylie Houston, Bailey Harvey, Julia Hemmelstrand, Brooklyn Hunt, Kate Jacobson, Ashley Kerbach, Grayson Major, Carmen Moeller, Lauren Ruhlman, Emily Sample, Crystal Sazanoff, and Kendra Winarka. Cheer coach, Katie Lane. Now let's meet the defensive starters for the Lynx. A defensive tackle, number 28, a 5'10", 195-pound junior, Jordan Johnson. At one defensive end, number 44, a 6'2", 235-pound senior, Parker Reed. At the other defensive end, number 30, 6 foot, 180-pound junior, Ryan Dahl. At nose guard, number 57, a 5'10", 195-pound junior, Dominic Tucker. At linebacker, number 33, a 6 foot, 190-pound junior, Damian Shunky. At the other linebacker, number 4, a 5'11", 210-pound junior, Owen Warren. At linebacker, number 19, a 5'11", 180-pound senior, Josh Pickthorn. At cornerback, number 11, 6'3", 180-pound senior, Jackson Hilton. At the other cornerback, number 14, a 6'1", 170-pound junior, Noah Thompson. At safety, number 26, a 5'7", 165-pound senior, Mark Muchkanaus. And at free safety, number 22, a 5'10", 160-pound junior, Kyler Brees. Assistant coaches for the Lynx, Mike Zur, Tim Sillianson, Jason Bisbee, Dylan Brees, Matt Christensen, Kent Anderson, Justin Mashlin, Matt Mueller, Joe Kravachka. Volunteers are Jeremy Risty, Darian Smith, and Mark Statham. Head coach of the Lynx, Mr. Chad Garrell. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd like to say a huge thank you to our senior athletes for your year of dedication and hard work put into your sport. Your coaches, teammates, family, and fans would like to thank you for the joy each of you have brought to their lives in seeing you set your goals and striving to achieve them. Along the way, you have created memories that will last a lifetime. Thank you and best of luck the remainder of the season. This first meets the players. Number 2, Joey Nemec. Parents, Tony Nemec and Brandy Nemec. Number 6, Joe Kovac. Parents, Steve and Stacy. Number 11, Jackson Hilton. Parents, Rick Hilton and Kelly and Tony Gibson. Number 12, Wesley Wilson. Parents, Jeremy and Clarissa. Number 15, Austin Vigans. Parents, Peter and Deb Vigans. Number 18, Carson Mashlin. Parents, Justin and Michelle. Number 19, Josh Bickthorn. Parents, Jason and Sherry. Number 20, Carter Van Heel. Parents, Dan and Carrie. Number 21, Tate Johnson. Parents, Chad and Jenna. Number 23, Aiden Lloyd. Mother Sally Lloyd and the late Mark Lloyd. Number 25, Aiden Swift. Parents, Mark and Sherry. Number 26, Mark Mutchkanaus. Parents, Dan and Amy. Number 35, Jackson Slagle. Parents, John Slagle and Amy Buss. Number 36, Levi Pfeiffer. Parents, Mike Pfeiffer and Heather Veld. Number 37, Jack Kroenke. Parents, John and Brenda Kroenke. Luke Wickersham, number 42. Parents, Scott and Abby. Number 44, Parker Reed. Parents, Terry Reed and Darcy Reed. Number 55, Kellen Toll. Parents, Bruce Tull and Lisa Verdorn. Number 60, Dante Miller. Mother Amy Blackburn. Number 68, Tyler Slutsky. Parents, Scott and Ann. Number 75, Greg Swinson. Parents, Matt and Heather. Number 76, Jackson Mullet. Parents, Chris and Dee Dee. Number 78, Isaac Viss. Parents, Boyd Viss and Danielle Viss. Number 79, Wyatt Reed. Parents, John and Stephanie. And number 89, Hunter Anderson. Parents, Kent and Jackie. The two managers, Harley DeVille. Parents, Brad and Jocelyn. And Ashley Vigans. Parents, Peter and Deb. Cheer team seniors. Josie Bowers. Parents, Mark and Lana. Bailey Harvey. Parents, Todd and Paula. Jenica Pitts. Parents, Larry and Shirley. Lauren Ruhlman. Parents, Justin and Carmen. Crystal Sanzanoff. Parents, Alex Sr. and Marina. And Kendra Winarka. Parents, Todd and Sarah. Out of about a round of applause for our seniors. Thank you, seniors and their parents.
It's okay. Nice. I hate the 7-inning.
You working from home now?
No, still printing shirts.
Are you?
Oh yeah. A lot of branded shirts.
So
when you walk in, all the shirts that are being sold, I print them.
So where's that at now?
That's on Casco, so that would be right off of the Benson exit on 229. You get off on that exit and you go past the stoplight. So Rivera's on your right.
It's called Casco or Casco?
Casco Ave. Just right off of Benson Road.
And they just do all printing stuff?
Yeah. So we do it for Brandon Boosters, Roosevelt, Lincoln, Washington.
Just all local?
Mostly. We do some people out of
How'd you find that job?
my boss, Joe Paul, his daughter graduated with me. We're really good friends.
Oh.
And I was between jobs. So it was going to be temporary.
Yeah.
But now I've been there for 2.5 years. I really like it.
Where were you working prior to that again? You didn't like that?
I didn't like it. I'm not very good. I wasn't very good.
Weren't you? What were you doing there?
I was just a
Oh.
trying to become a banker.
Yeah.
I'm not a financial
Person. Yeah.
It was kind of just out of college, tried to get a job. I almost got a job at Kellogg. They went with somebody with a couple years of experience from somewhere else.
Well, Amazon's coming in. Amazon, they building like a 400,000 square foot building, employing 1,000 people. It's going to be the hub for the Midwest.
Nice.
Yeah. It's what is it? What they say? 400 football fields. Big. 2-story. Yeah. Yeah, the fans are still pretty scarce, aren't they? Out here?
Yeah. I think they'll trickle in. Let's see if I can find this.
From Brandon Valley High School here in Brandon, South Dakota, it is time for Lynx football right here on Lynx TV. Good evening, everybody. Kyle Roque here. Ken McEwen by my side as the 0-1 Brandon Valley Lynx get set to take on the 1-0 O'Gorman Knights. It is a first here, a first of many, with senior night coming in just the second week of the season. As you can see, the Lynx are about to take the field. Before they do, we'd like to thank the seniors before we talk about tonight's huge matchup with the Knights. We'd like to thank those seniors: Joey Nemec, Joe Colbeck, Jackson Hilton, Wesley Wilson, Austin Vegans, Carson Mashlin, Josh Pickthorn, Carter Van Heel, Tate Johnson, Aiden Lloyd, Aiden Swift, March Muchkanaus, Jackson Schlegel, Levi Pfeiffer, Jack Cronky, Parker Reed, Kellen Toll, Dante Miller, Tyler Shelsky, Drake Swenson, Jackson Mullet, Isaac Viss, Wyatt Reed, and Hunter Anderson, as well as managers Harley DeVille, Ashley Vegans, and the cheer team Josie Bowers, Bailey Harvey, Jenica Pitts, Lauren Rollman, Crystal Sazanoff, and Kendra Winarka. We thank you to our seniors, so we'll talk about them a little bit, might name them again soon. A lot of those splash players we talked about last week. Lynx are going to be losing some big-time names, but there is still plenty of season to happen. Usually senior night's on the last game of the year, second game of the year this year. What a big game tonight it is, Ken. Lynx coming off that heartbreaking 2-point loss. They fought all the way to the finish last week against the number 1 team in the state. They can turn it around tonight. Lucas Slack's second start of his career as a sophomore. O'Gorman pitching a shutout last week against Rapid City Central, and they're really, really talented quarterback that we saw twice last year here at home. Lynx defense is going to keep them in almost every single game this year, but the Lynx have another huge matchup tonight against the Knights.
Huge. That's an understatement. You cannot go 0-2 and survive really in AAA in the Metro. This matchup between O'Gorman and your Lynx, number 2 in the state. I believe O'Gorman jumped up to number 2. Mm-hmm. I think we fell to number 3.
Makes sense.
Washington right there is 1-0 also, but O'Gorman's 1-0. We're 0-1. A huge ball game, like Kyle said, coming off a loss last week that actually was a really tight battle. I mean, a super tight battle between the number 1 and number 2 at the time ranked teams in AAA in the Metro. And, 2 points, Kyle, what do you say, on Pigskin Classic number 20 that we just finished up. But it's a new ball game, and I'm sure Coach Garrow did say that to his team. You got to get rid of that game. That game it's a new season now. You got to play that by every game that you come up on. You can't worry about the last one. You can't worry about the future. Okay? You have to worry about today.
I was counting it out, and I think that may just be the 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th loss of Lynx TV in the last 5 years that we've been broadcasting these games football-wise. And the Lynx will be on the road, I believe, somewhere in Sioux Falls next week, 5 o'clock start. So I would just assume that's a 5 and 7 doubleheader next week, somewhere in Sioux Falls, probably taking on either Washington or Lincoln. I'll have to double check the schedule. Didn't check that yet. So Lynx are stacked. I said this is the last year I was going to say this, but. The last few years, every single year, I feel like I'm saying, boy, the Lynx got a tough schedule this year. Boy, the Lynx schedule is really, really top heavy. But that's just the way it's going to be from now on. When you're in the Metro, you are going to play. It's not like it was in the ESD where you're going to be every single year playing Pierre, Yankton, Aberdeen Central, all the way down the list. Now we got Harrisburg. You're going to play all 4 Sioux Falls schools, and you're probably going to play them again when the playoffs come around. We got a long time, obviously, to get there. But for these Lynx, there is really no soft point in this schedule. They got to win, and they're going to play every single top 5 team in AAA. So this is going to answer a lot of questions. We talked about it last week. We said there's a lot of questions with this team. We're going to get a lot of answers. I think a lot of questions were answered last week. How's the defense going to hold up? Thought they played great for the most part. How is Lucas Slack going to play as a sophomore in his first start? Thought he held his own, made some good throws. Will get better. How's the new look offense going to be? Work in progress. I thought they did some good things. I think it's only going to get better from here.
I agree. It's the real test, and we're about to have the national anthem, but the real test for Gorman tonight is to face a top 3 ranked team, which they didn't do last week. So they're going to have their test too tonight. And here's your national anthem.
Playing our national anthem this evening will be the Brandon Valley High School trumpet line under the direction of Abby Christensen. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Thank you.
1-0 second-ranked O'Gorman Knights, led by Jason Papaga, taking on 0-1 number 3 Brandon Valley, as the coin toss is getting ready to start this game up. Ken, what are some keys from what you saw last week that the Lynx can improve on this week? How do we beat this O'Gorman Knights team?
Well, it's a hot rival. The last couple of years in the playoffs, Brandon Valley went there a couple of years ago, actually 3 years ago, into O'Gorman and knocked them off. You remember in that playoff game, and then so it's a real hot rival. But the key is, one of the keys is to forget about last week. You had a whole week of practice, okay, to fix things, and not a lot of things needed to get fixed. You didn't turn over the ball at a high rate, which you need to do tonight. One of the keys, don't turn over the ball. Don't give them the ball for free, okay? Second of all, you have to make sure that your team's ready to play, and I believe that our coaching staff is one of the best, if not the best, in this state to come off a loss and get their team prepared for the next week. And going up against this is a huge football game, but everything has to be won up front. You got your offensive line. We saw last week Tate Johnson ran for a bunch of yards. I don't even know what he ran for because we didn't have the stats, but it was quite a few yards, okay, on the ground. And we have kind of a young offensive line from right to left. And so at the end of the day, you got to win up front. And defensively, it's the same exact thing that I'm talking about with the offense. You win games up front. That's just the way it is. If you're able to stop the run and make a team one-dimensional, okay, and they have a pretty good quarterback on the other side of the ball, okay. It's not a sophomore we're looking at, okay. They have a pretty good quarterback, and so how are you going to make them one-dimensional? Are you going to force them to throw the ball all the time, okay, and take the run away? That's what I love to do as a defensive coordinator, stop the run first and then pin our ears back because we know what they're going to do, and then we come after them with blitzes and let our defensive ends go to town.
Yeah, we'll see. And the Lynx really did force Roosevelt last week to throw, and it almost cost the Rough Riders with a minute to go. If you'll remember, the Lynx had the ball with a chance to win the game. Didn't work out for them against the number 1 team in the state. Lynx trying to avenge last year's state championship loss to O'Gorman. And by the way, if you take a look, folks, you'll be happy to see this. At the top of your screen, our brand new scoreboard, as you will see it from now on. Used to be at the bottom of the screen, now at the top. We got our time back on. We got our down and distance, 1st and 10, it says on the 20 right now. That'll switch as we switch with our scoreboard, our brand new, spanking new scoreboard. Hopefully you'll get to see that during the broadcast as well. O'Gorman will receive the football to start the game. Lynx in all black. Black pants trimmed in red and white. O'Gorman with some very tight-looking gray pants, looking very sharp in their white uniforms. And off we go with week 2. It's a short kick, and it will be returned by Sam Stuckel. Stuckel breaking 1 tackle. Flags are down at the 20-yard line. He is stopped, but we will check the flag. And this is going to go against O'Gorman.
So I wonder if the seniors got to pick the uniform tonight, because they're all black.
Yeah.
And it's pretty warm.
Yeah, it's a sunny day out there. On turf and in all black. That's an interesting choice, but it will cool down pretty quickly here. And it's a block in the back penalty against the O'Gorman Knights. It'll be half the distance to the goal, and it'll put them right around the 9-yard line. So this is a big opportunity for the Lynx defense. Now they move it back to the 8. So it'll be first down. Tegan Slimgin is the starting quarterback for O'Gorman. 2 touchdowns in the second half last week against Rapid City Central. First down, they're going to throw it out. Pass is caught, and immediately Sam Stuckel is met by one of the biggest playmakers on both sides of the ball, Jackson Hilton. He is stopped for minimal gain.
And what you want to do with Jackson, we talked about it last week, when he becomes involved early in the football game, great things happen for the Lynx. You talked about his talent, and that was a great tackle as he fought off a block and went right to the sideline to make that tackle.
Maybe gained a foot on the play, 2nd and 10. Schlimgin going to run, and he's got a lot of room, and he gets a first down. A nice run for Schlimgin as Kyler Breest makes the stop. So they'll move the sticks for O'Gorman. A nice run for a very athletic quarterback. Back-to-back weeks playing against a tough quarterback.
Well, Jason Popiga, the head coach of the Knights, is taking a play or something out of last week, because we got ran all over on 2 by Roosevelt.
Tanner Payton, the senior. They try to hand it off to him, but Schlimgin decides to keep it, and they'll move the sticks again down to the 39. Again, it's Breest on the stop, but another first down for O'Gorman.
And what I'm talking about, folks that are just tuning in tonight that missed last week's game, or if you were watching last week's game or you're at the game, we had a little trouble stopping the quarterback last week on the ground for Roosevelt, and early on the defense is struggling right now.
3 wide receivers at the top of your screen. First down and 10 from the 39. O'Gorman looking strong so far. First handoff of the game. Fumbled the ball. Payton loses it, but he recovers for a 2-yard gain. Our new guy, Owen Warren, one of the men on the stop. Warren had a good day last week. And it'll be 2nd and 8.
So defensively, you have a new linebacker and Owen Warren sitting in the middle. He's got to be the spy tonight. We talked about it last week. He's got to be the spy on that quarterback. They're doing a read option with the quarterback and running back.
2nd down and 8. Schlimgin going to keep it. And this time it works. And just like you said, Ken, Owen Warren, number 4, smack dab in the middle of that linebacking core, makes the stop.
He has to go where that quarterback goes. It's just going to have to happen tonight. He's going to have to be predicated on just stopping him. He's not going to be a force in the passing game and coverage. He's got to stop the run.
So it's a big 3rd down and 6. O'Gorman started this drive from the 9. It's been a strong drive so far. Lynx maybe showing a blitz. Now they back out. And Schlimgen is in trouble, and down he goes. Sacked on the play by Jordan Johnson, and the Lynx defense holds. After a good-looking first drive for O'Gorman, they will punt.
Yeah, and Jordan Johnson for the Lynx, he is a running back. He was tremendous when he was in 7th and 8th grade. I remember when we were coaching him, with the coaching staff below us in the 7th grade, we were coaching the 8th grade in the FBU, the national team. He ran all over Wisconsin, the team from Wisconsin, and for Kansas.
This is a short punt, and everybody's got to get away from it. It is downed by number 21, Logan Hitt. And that is where the Lynx offense will come onto the field, led by sophomore quarterback Lucas Slack. And the Lynx got into the end zone twice last week on offense.
And going back to Jordan Johnson, he's a really good running back, but to play that that defensive tackle position, that shows his versatility, and comes up with a big sack.
So the Lynx offense looking much different than it did last year. They're going to run the option. And it's Johnson to the right side. A nice run for Tate Johnson. That's something that we're used to by now. He gets to the 45.
And they go right to the right again, your Lynx running the ball. Right behind the freshman Navarro Shunke and Nate Myers. Boy, they like running to the right, and they pick up a chunk of yards there on first down.
Gain of 7 on the play. Lynx are much less splashy than they were last year. Much more methodical, grinding out drives. Speaking of grinding, it's Johnson. And he is going to push. And he is going to be very close to a first down. We talked about it last week. His legs kept churning. And the legs churning, he was stopped short of the first down marker, but he just keeps pushing, and they move the sticks.
Well, both quarterbacks, both offenses are running an RPO offense right now, run-pass option from the quarterback. And you're seeing that from both. And watch our quarterback for the Lynx. He's going to keep it one of these times. He's going to be wide open out to the edge.
Empty backfield for Slack this time. Now here comes Johnson. And you were right, Ken. He is going to run. Gets a little bit of space. Maybe 3 yards on the play. But a good start on first down.
And he has to become a weapon in the backfield. Not just with his arm. He's got to become a weapon with his legs, because that's going to make the linebackers hold and sit. They can't blitz so much, because you get upfield too much as blitzers from the linebacker position, he'll run right past you.
Luke Wickersham checks into the game. Number 18, Carson Mashlin, checks out. Now they're going to move Vegans and Carroll to the right side of the line. Slack's first throw of the game. Throws it down the middle of the field and just out of the reach. Jackson Hilton got a hand on it. Hilton made a nice play defensively. Could not quite haul that one in.
Surprising. He was double, maybe triple teamed on that, and he still found a way to cut underneath those defenders and try to find the ball. Jackson Hilton is a special player, and he's going to continue. If this offense is going to work, they have to find a way to get him the ball.
Yeah, only a few catches for Hilton, but he did catch a big fourth down conversion last week. Peyton Carroll did not get a catch last week. They're going to try to get the ball in his hands, you would think, a little bit more. Same with number 15, Austin Vegans. Not much from him either. Here's a pass intercepted. Jumping right in front of it is Andrew Matinchek. And Anders Matinchek is across midfield, and O'Gorman turns over the Lynx.
So that's a quarterback throwing into coverage. And what I mean by coverage, it was a cover 3 zone. The linebacker, they call it, he has he has a curl. Mm-hmm. He has into flats, and that's what he did. Right underneath Jackson there on his break, cut underneath that on his zone, and picked it off. That's just experience, knowing the coverage, looking at the coverage and being able to look off. Don't go to one receiver. Look him off and go to the other receiver.
So for the fans watching, I'll ask a question after this play. about the difference between man-to-man and zone. First down for Tegan Schlimgen. And they're going to hand it off here to Tanner Payton. And Payton heads to the right side, gets a first down across the 35 until he's ushered out of bounds. So when you say zone, when they're man-to-man, that means one guy is covering one guy, and that's it. In a zone, a defender picks a space that he goes to, kind of like in basketball, right?
Yep, and so they on those the corner would have a quarterback, or excuse me, it's not a quarterback, but the quarter of the field they talk about. The linebacker has the hook to flats there, and that's where it was thrown to.
Yeah, I knew that. It was just for the people. First down this time. The ball is kept by Tegan Schlimgen, and he's going to not get much on the play. And we talked about run-pass option as well. And in this situation, Schlimgen is not supposed to necessarily keep the ball in that play. He can either hand it off or keep it depending on what the defense does, right?
His read is the defensive ends. If they commit to the running back, he's going to keep it. If they don't commit to the running back, he's going to give it to the running back. That's what he's keying on.
So 2nd and 10, lots of pressure. Pass to the left side is caught for a first down by Harry Huners. And the O'Gorman Knights are the first into the red zone inside the 20 down near the 13-yard line. And O'Gorman looking strong on this drive as they had to punt on their first one. But another good throw by Tegan Schlimgen, and he's picking up right where he left off last week.
It's defensively, how do you hold inside the red zone? We talk about the red zone every game to you folks, and this is where it becomes crucial. From giving up 3 points to 7 points to 0 points, this is where your defense really earns its money.
Direct snap, a run up the middle. Inside the 5 goes Sam Stuckel. And it's going to be 1st and goal for O'Gorman. Knights scored 43 points last week, and they're looking for some now. First and goal from the 2. And again, it's Stuckel, and it's a bad snap. Stuckel is in a lot of trouble, and he's going to be back all the way at the 19-yard line. A loss of 17 on the play.
So I always say that offensively, offenses are really good between the 20s, okay, from the 20 to the other 20, okay? When you become a great offense or a great defense, okay, is how you produce inside the 20, because everything shortens up.
Yep.
And the spaces are really small. And this is a great test for both teams, especially the Lynx defense, to see how they come out on this. We're at 2nd down.
So Sam Stuckel's been playing quarterback for most of this drive. A big hit as Stuckel releases the ball. And both players, believe that's number 44, Parker Reed, they talk about it afterwards. Pass incomplete, intended for Jacob Schwab. So right now, we don't want to speculate, but no Tegan Schlimgen in the game for O'Gorman. It's been number 2, Sam Stuckel, since they got inside the 20-yard line.
And I don't know why. I don't know what happened. We don't see him on the sideline either.
3rd and goal from the 19. They got to go a long way here, and they're just going to hand it off.
Fumble.
And a fumble on the play. Good call, Ken. And the Brandon Valley Lynx have the football. A huge turnover as we talk about inside the 20, inside that red zone. And the Lynx will take over. That is ginormous for this Lynx offense.
Well, they were
and
helped.
The defense.
They were helped by a botched snap that went over the head of the quarterback, and that's just a good strip. That didn't come out. That didn't just come out of the ball carrier's arms. That was a good strip, and I don't know who stripped it there, but that's just a great defensive play.
So Tanner Payton puts the ball on the turf. And the Lynx will get the ball at the 12-yard line. First down. They got a long way to go here, and they're going to start it with Tate Johnson to the right side. A nice run for him of about 4 or 5 yards. They'll give him 4 to the 16.
And they love that right side. We talked about it. They just love that right side. They don't know if it's the they don't care if it's the short side of the field or not on the hashes. They're still going to run it right.
Just for some power. And they got some size on that right side, as we talked about with Shunky. This time they're going to keep it with Slack, and he's not going to get much.
And that's just an
Yep.
RPO. That's just an RPO on offense right there to the left. And that's just a great job by number 4, David Alpers, staying home at defensive end.
Parker Reed getting some time on offense here. He just checks out of the game along with Wickersham. Number 3, Sam Skolton, and number 11, Jackson Hilton are back in. Hilton's at the bottom of your screen now. So big third down here. Slack into double coverage again, incomplete. And there were a lot of white shirts in the area intended for Carroll.
And that's going to be 4th down. Sorry, Kyle.
No, you're good.
But-
That's what I was just going to say.
But he should have went to the flats. The coaching staff, you could hear him beside us. They're beside us. Should have went to Jackson on the flats. He's throwing into a lot of coverage, and I don't know why. I don't. As a coaching staff, you got to bring him to the sideline and say, okay, we can't tell you where to throw it, but you have to understand if there's triple coverage, double coverage, you cannot throw into it.
Blocked. Punt's blocked, and it'll be 1st and goal. O'Gorman inside the 5-yard line. A rush of white jerseys coming in, and they get a piece of that ball. And the Lynx are once again in a lot of trouble here.
This is almost a good time to call a timeout by a coaching staff, just to settle everybody down, because we've seen turnover upon turnover, and that can mess with the mental part of these kids' minds. And it's almost good to just settle everybody down and make sure that we're doing things right.
And we do have a whistle, and now play will resume. Referees did stop it. I thought you were right, Ken. I thought they did call a timeout, but no timeout called. 2:22 to go here in the first quarter. O'Gorman, if you're just tuning in, just got a blocked punt. And again, Sam Stuckel is in the backfield for O'Gorman. And they're going to direct snap up to the up back, diving for the end zone. Touchdown, O'Gorman. Jacob Schwab gets in. I believe it was number 25, Schwab. And O'Gorman takes advantage of the very short field.
And also, if you give teams multiple chances inside the red zone, they're going to eventually break you and they're going to score. So how do you regroup? I mean, like we talked about, this has been a story this first quarter of turnovers upon turnovers, mistakes upon mistakes from both teams. Okay? O'Gorman just got lucky and made – I shouldn't say lucky. They
made a play.
They made a play and blocked a punt. Okay? But that falls on the hands of our quarterback right now. Our quarterback right now is throwing into a lot of coverage constantly. So here's what you do with him, Kyle. You start – remember last week we talked about how those quarterbacks, those sophomore quarterbacks, need to just get a feel of the game.
Yep.
Start dumping the ball off on flat passes, getting them, just 5-yard passes, not these 15-yarders, these 20-yarders. Let him start to get his wheels underneath him, okay? And make sure that he's just comfortable. He's got to be comfortable because right now, in his mind, he's not comfortable. He threw an interception, okay? He's seen a lot of coverage that maybe he hasn't seen before, okay? So how do you break that and get him comfortable? Is get him to start completing short passes.
Well, cut Lucas some slack because we know he's got the arm.
Mm-hmm.
He has, in both passes, while they were in, one was double, one was maybe quadruple coverage, both got him in the hands. So he knows where to spot the ball up, and he knows where to put it. Now, the interception, like you said, was just, something that he probably hasn't seen before. I don't want to speculate.
Well, even thrown into triple coverage, and Jackson Hilton down here, and Jackson just made a play and cut it underneath, didn't catch it. But that's thrown into coverage. And what's going to happen is that they're focused on stopping our run.
Yep.
Every team is. He's got to be a factor.
And we will see the Lynx do have so many weapons on offense that really haven't touched the ball yet, and they're going to get a big advantage here. As this one goes out of bounds, this is going to be pretty good field position for Brandon Valley at the 28-yard line. I thought the kick was going out of bounds.
And this, in his last 2 completions, okay, Slack, his last 2 completions have been interceptions.
Yeah.
At the end of last game, it was an interception. It's an interception, okay? In your mind, that's an interception. The completion in this game in the first quarter has been an interception.
Yep.
You got to get him comfortable. You have to. Everybody says physical attributes and stuff like that, but mental's huge.
Slack 0 for 3 to start, as we said, with an interception. They're going to give it off to Tate Johnson, who gets some space. Spins to the left side across the 35. A nice run of about 7 yards for Johnson. And hopefully that is what the Lynx need here. Because when your quarterback is 0 for 3 to start the game, I know they're trying to stop the run, but you need that running game to get going.
Absolutely. A great running game helps a quarterback tremendously.
2nd and 3. Johnson, not this time. Stopped by Chase Harris, the junior. Big 225 D lineman for a loss of 2 and a big 3rd and 5 coming up.
But so now you're in 3rd and 5, and now it's going to be on the quarterback's hands. My guess is they're not going to run the ball, okay? And now it's going to be in your quarterback's hands. And so how are you going to get him to be comfortable and make a throw? Maybe roll him out a little bit and throw on the run, and they might run here.
Well, they got an I formation. They're going heavy with Wickersham. Bad snap as Slack has to keep it. And he'll maybe get a yard on the play, and now the Lynx are forced to punt again. And last time it did not go quite as planned. But again, it looks like number 18, Carson Mashland, is back there to punt. So let's see how this punt goes. Last one was blocked. Under a minute to go here in the first quarter. Low snap. Good punt by Mashland. Great punt. And they'll let this one bounce. So a good little comeback by Mashland after he got the last punt blocked. This one goes out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
So ultimately your defense has been on the field a ton in the first quarter. How do they respond? Now it's early in the football game, I get it. But you got to be able to respond here. You got to stop that offense. Now they have been stopping the offense. Is you take the score away from 6 yards or from 6 yards out, they scored, but they were put in a terrible position off that block punt. You can't count that against them. Defensively, they got to step up. You have to step up here and keep the score where it's at.
1st and 10, Tegan Schlemgen is back into the game. They throw it out wide to Tanner Payton, who's got lots of room across the left side. And finally upending him is Kyler Breest, who's got 3 or 4 tackles already on the day, but another big gash by this O'Gorman offense.
Boy, were those receivers blocking well or what for O'Gorman? They have some good blocking wide receivers.
Those wide receivers, Sam Stuckel, Harry Huners. A lot of talent on this O'Gorman offense, and they're showing it off now. Pass out wide for Payton. And he is tackled at the 45-yard line. Looked like Damian Shunke got in there and stopped him first, but he fell ahead. They're going to give it to Pigthorn on the tackle. And that will end our first quarter. So a very interesting first quarter for Brandon Valley. They get a big turnover as O'Gorman was knocking on the door. Get the ball back. Have to punt. Get the punt blocked inside the 5-yard line, and O'Gorman is able to score on that. So I hardly call that Brandon Valley's defense breaking.
No.
But they
haven't.
bent, and they got a big stop.
And the key is about resetting. I keep on going back to the mental part of the game. Everybody talks about, oh, well, they got a great arm, or he's a great tackler, or he's really fast. Somebody's really fast out here. But at the end of the day, all these kids are great athletes. Okay, they're all really good athletes. And what it really comes down to is the mental part, because football's a game of roller coasters. In the first quarter, we saw in some games that amount of turnovers doesn't even happen, and that happened in one quarter. So the roller coaster went. Remember Valley Fair in Minnesota?
Of course.
What was that the Wild Thing or something? The big
Wild
roller
Thing or Corkscrew, one of the two.
Yeah.
Corkscrew, you went upside down. That was scary.
It went from a carnival roller coaster to the Wild Thing in Valley Fair.
Right.
That's how much the roller coaster was in that first quarter. So mentally, they just got to regroup. We have to me, in AAA, it's Roosevelt, Brandon Valley, and O'Gorman. They're all really close to each other, really tight. And so who's going to win those football games is the turnover battle. And who's going to win those football games is who's going to be mentally prepared throughout this football game to go through that roller coaster.
And it doesn't technically go down as a turnover. So technically both teams have won. The interception by Slack, the fumble by Payton. But the block punt is just as good as a turnover. So right now the Lynx, you could make the case, are in a way losing that turnover battle. But they'll need a stop here on this drive from the 45 on second down. And Schlimgen is going to throw, and it's a nice throw, caught as Owen Warren makes the tackle, but a first down as Konechny makes the catch, his first catch of the game. And now O'Gorman's hurrying up. First down and 10 into enemy territory. Schlemgen's going to hold on to it. He's going to keep it. And he gets near the 39-yard line, a gain of 4 on the play. And, Ken, they're not wasting any time here. They're moving.
They feel that the Lynx defense is on their heels, and they're trying to exploit it.
Lynx defense has been on the field a lot in this game so far. Schlemgen throws, caught. Going to be close to a first down. Konechny again. And they will move the sticks. It's a first down. The referees are going to have to hold off O'Gorman here as the chains move. And they do just get there. Throw out wide is caught. Payton, right side, breaks a tackle. Another fumble. And it's recovered by the Lynx.
Boy, and here we go with the roller coaster again. So now you gather the momentum. O'Gorman's flying down the field, completing passes. They put the ball on the turf, okay? Now you just sucked all the wind out of their offense. Our offense has to grow big shoulders here. They do.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you're a sophomore, senior, junior, freshman, whatever you are in the football field. You got to respond here to give your team momentum.
And we haven't seen a real good sustained drive yet. I know they scored twice last week, but now we've got some flags here, and they'll move back 5 yards, probably for a false start. But second fumble by Payton tonight, could pay dividends for Brandon Valley, but they'll move back 5 yards. As I said, that's a false start penalty. So a minute to go here in this second quarter. And as you said, there's been enough action so far in a 7-0 game early in the second quarter for about 3 games total. More like a Ferris wheel that's broken and just spinning up and down we go. 1st and 15. And they're going to stick with it. They give it to Johnson. Stays on his feet. Broke one tackle until Chase Harris finally runs him down. But that is a very, very good run on 1st down and 15. They get 8 yards back, and it'll be 2nd and 7.
I do like what the offense is doing, though. They're trying to get Tate onto the outside. They're really trying. They're really trying to, and I don't know if that means that they have a really good nose tackle too, like Roosevelt did last week or not. But they're really trying to exploit that outside.
Now they're going to run it up the middle, and Johnson will not get far. Couple of O'Gorman Knights there. Andrew Matichek, one of them. And not taking away anything from the Lynx offensive line. Just stating facts here. They are small up the middle. They are small. They got 220, 240, and 240 as weight. Now, weight doesn't mean strength, obviously, but they are a little bit bigger on the outside, and they're trying to exploit that. Johnson maybe got a yard, and a big 3rd and 6 coming up for the Lynx offense. Schlack's going to throw. Throws it left. That is a good throw. And it is caught for a first down by Sam Skolton. The last of the Skoltons that we will see for quite a while here at Brandon Valley moves the sticks. That's the kind of throw from Schlack we've been waiting for.
Absolutely. That was a rifle. And he had somebody right in his face. And that can turn things for him. Just a little spark can really turn things for the sophomore quarterback.
Lynx bunching things up here. They're going to run the option. And it's got trouble written all over it. Schlack got corralled. He pitched it out to Johnson. And I think, not taking away anything again from the O-line or Johnson, but I think Johnson's lost yards so far in these first 2 games about as much as he did all last year.
Well, that was just a good play by O'Gorman. They blitzed right into it. They brought a blitz off the edge. Well, it ran right into the pitch. And that's just, you can call that luck or good play calling, whatever it was, but it was just a good call.
Well, we talked about the Lynx defense being strong, and the only touchdown we've seen today, O'Gorman got the ball at the 5-yard line. O'Gorman's defense is strong, pitching a shutout last week. Johnson stays on his feet, heads up the middle, and finally a run up the middle pays dividends for the Lynx. I think Johnson's going to be just short of the first down as they are headed across midfield trying to get there. They're going to be 2 yards short.
Folks, some of you just don't understand what vision Tate Johnson has. He's super quick, I get it. And he's a little bit smaller, but he has great vision. And you could see that on that run.
3rd and 2, they move the chains. They get into O'Gorman territory, I believe, for the first time today. He's got great vision. He's very quick. And as you said, he's a little smaller, but he is powerful.
And the other thing is, for a little bit smaller in stature, he's 175. He's 175 pounds and 5'10", but he's very durable. Very durable.
175 soaking wet. On first down, not much. Maybe got a foot. See where they spot it, but it's not going to be for too much of a gain as Matthew Peters gets in on the stop for O'Gorman. This O'Gorman defense is no joke. As we said, Rapid City Central's got a very talented quarterback that we saw twice here last year. He's a senior now. And for them to pitch a shutout, I'm mixing my sports here, but quite impressive. And they've been impressive so far in this game. Moving everybody to the right side of the line. Schlack. Here's Carroll, but he just overthrew him. Carroll hesitated for a moment. Don't know if he would have been able to get there, but the pass falls incomplete. That time he had Carroll.
He did, and you can't pin that so much on Schlack there. It looked like it was a skinny post to the outside, and you do not want the receiver turning inside and looking for the ball. You want him to turn outside, and if he would have turned outside, he had a good chance of catching that football.
So 3rd and 9 coming up from the 45. Schlack rolls, trying to find somebody. It tips off of a O'Gorman Knight, tips off of Jackson Hilton, then falls incomplete. So back in comes Carson Mashlin, and they're going to try to pin O'Gorman deep here.
And that was a forced throw. That was forced into triple coverage again. Sometimes you just live to play another down.
Yeah.
I know somebody was in his face, just get rid of the ball. You're outside the pocket, you can just get rid of the ball.
We don't have the best angle from here, but it really didn't look like anybody was open.
No.
As you were saying, to fight another down, just throw it away. He tried to make a play. Could have been intercepted. High snap this time after a low one last time. Another good punt from Mashlin. But it takes an O'Gorman bounce. Vigans tries to knock it away. So it bounced at the 25, and it'll be downed at the 28.
And that's one player they may need, well, they will need. I'm not going to say may, is Vigans from the tight end position.
Haven't seen much of him so far.
And I don't know if they're taking him away or not. I haven't looked from the tight end position, but they need to get they really need to get 3 players going on this offense. Hilton, Vigans, and Tate Johnson. They got to get them going.
Johnson got loose a couple times on that drive. And the Lynx drive looked pretty good to start, but it did stall as they crossed into O'Gorman territory. Short punt of just 24 yards, but still gets the Knights back at the 26. Schlemgen rolls, throws, incomplete. And that's what we talked about with Slack on that last play. Schlemgen didn't see anybody open, throws it away.
And that's what you have to do. You can't play the turnover game. You just can't. You can't force balls. The game's 7-0. It's not 28-0.
Right.
You just got to start forcing things. It is a close game. Keep your composure and live to play the next down.
4 wide receivers set for the Knights. They will throw. Schlemgen in a lot of trouble here, and he's sacked. And I think it was Shunky. And actually, excuse me, that was Ryan Dahl. His first sack of the season.
That was a big play by Ryan Dahl. We haven't called his name a lot this year. Well, this is the only second the game, but he's a junior, and really came off the edge there, didn't he?
Good pursuit. Didn't start last week, starting this week. Big third down coming up. 3rd and 19. Payton's going to run it. And he is met at the 20 and stopped. So that's what we were talking about, and I think it was Ryan Dahl again on the stop. So a good drive for him.
Yeah, he's really coming to play this game, and we've seen 2 players, Ryan Dahl and number 28, Jordan Johnson, that we didn't call their names at all last week, and they're playing big in this first half with 2 sacks.
Some younger Lynx coming in a big way so far. And as we've said, even though O'Gorman scored once, this Lynx defense, both defenses, coming to play like they did last week. And we're going to get a chance here at a return, and the Lynx on a nice return by Peyton Egan. And the Lynx will start already in O'Gorman territory. So basically picking up right where they left off on that last drive. See if they can do something with it.
And how do you sustain a drive? Try to, I get that we'll take a touchdown in 20 seconds, but realistically, how do you drain this clock for the first half and get points on the board going into the second half?
Let's see if the Lynx can get it to some splash players here. They're going to start with a good one, and it's Johnson to the left side. Fighting across the 40. He'll be stopped there. Number 33, Anders Madenchek on the stop. They'll spot him at the 40, gain of 8. And I'm still surprised, and I'm not going to pretend I'm an offensive coordinator. I'm surprised they haven't gotten the ball, not to Hilton or Vigans or Carroll, but just throwing it out there and got him in a little bit of space. I'm surprised about that. Now, maybe it's all part of the big plan. Second down, Johnson right side, and he's not going to have as much luck this time.
Johnson on the carry.
as he was stopped by Michael Shia.
Tackle made by number
And again, it was
28.
Matinchek as well. And you need two guys
Shorty in on that play.
to take down somebody like Johnson.
And it's going to come another third down for this offense. It's going to be third and short, though. That's manageable. You open up the playbook wide open then. But you, for some reason, okay, is that we're still pretty flat right now as a team. You can see it. And somebody needs to make a big play.
Didn't see this last week. Parker Reed's back in. It's the second time he's checked in this week, and it pays off. He was in there as a blocker. He's even listed
Carrying the ball.
as simply a tight end, number 44, Parker Reed, and defensive end, excuse me, and what a defensive end he is as he checks out now as Mashlin and Jackson Hilton check back in. But, I mean, Lynx right now are just looking to have some power up there and use any big man they can as a blocker.
And that can break things, too. The secondary for O'Gorman's pretty good, what we've seen so far in this first half.
First down and 10 from the 36. Lynx looking tough on this drive. And speaking of tough, here's Johnson
Johnson on
for a
the carry.
5-yard gain.
On the tackle, number
And
believe-
he's starting to eat up yards here.
And I think that's at least 4 carries in a row. At some time, he's going to need a break. And I think he's going to need it right now because, well, no, they're not going to even let him go out. So Johnson's sitting at, I wish we had the stats, folks. We don't this year so far. But you're getting a heavy dose in which we see every game from Tate Johnson.
Not just people. The stats are even socially distancing from us. Here's Johnson. He's trying to create some social distance. I don't know if I should joke about that or not. Down to the 23.
Sam Stucco with the
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And-
It's reality.
And Tate's going to need a breather.
Yeah.
He's going to go.
Well deserved.
Yeah. And that's well deserved. That's going to be a first down. Now, who steps up as he comes out? He's been the focal point of the offense. Who steps up now as he comes to the sideline is going to be the key because you got about 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the first half, driving down to about the 23, 24.
Mark Muchkanaus checks into the game, and he's going to get the call. To the right side, has some space. And a pretty tough run for Muchkanaus. And, I mean, if you'll remember, Muchkanaus, he's a senior now, but as we got an O'Gorman night down, he has been on this team and making significant impacts since he was a sophomore. He was returning punts a couple years ago, if you'll remember. So that's a name you'll all recognize as he checks in. So both teams will go to their sidelines here, but this is a good drive by Brandon Valley.
It is, and they need to sustain this type of drive. Like we talked about when they started with the ball back when it was 5 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the first half, they're draining this clock, okay? The key is going to be is to get points, okay? You don't want to drain the clock just to drain the clock.
Yeah.
And if you can go into halftime 7-7 ball game, hey, we're going to reset everything and we're going to go right back to this football game in the second half. Adjustments, the halftime adjustments are going to be key. Both these coaching staffs are, we said it last week too, okay? In the AAA, and I'm sure all over South Dakota, but especially that I know in the AAA, is these coaching staffs are super good.
Mm-hmm.
And their adjustments are going to be key, and whoever makes that right adjustment going into the second half is going to be it really going to be the key. But the other thing, Kyle, is going to be mentally. This, if you put points on the board here, that's a mental drive. Okay, that's an all mental drive for the Lynx team.
Right.
And it kind of bursts the bubble a little bit for the O'Gorman Knights going into halftime. You want momentum going into halftime because a lot of times what happens in the second half, it feeds off of what you did at the end, not the first quarter, at the end of the second quarter. It really feeds off of that. And so this could be a big, big momentum booster.
Well, they're in the red zone inside that 20-yard line. And it doesn't also hurt that they're going to probably try to drain as much clock as they can, get into the end zone, bring that momentum into halftime, and they get the ball to start the second half. So this is huge. This is almost a mirror image of what happened last week. When the Lynx finally got on the board late in the second quarter, they'll try to do it again here. And they're going to try to do it with Johnson. Fights forward, gets a first down. It'll be 1st and goal for the Lynx as Johnson's tackled at the 9-yard line. And O'Gorman's going to take a timeout.
The first timeout by each team comes with 2 minutes and 11 seconds.
It's efficient.
To go in the first half. And we talked about the roller coaster. I expected one of these coaches to call a timeout early and try to regroup everything, but they've let it play, and it's still a 7-0 ball game. But the hype. What about these last two games? Last week against Roosevelt. We're talking about the top 3 teams in the Metro, AAA. We keep on saying Metro. That's what it is, but it's AAA. Yeah, there's just a lot of mumbo-jumbo in there.
Classes, all that stuff.
Yeah, but the top 3 teams in the big class in the state of South Dakota, okay, in my vision, in the ratings vision too, okay, is these teams are so equal, all 3 of them, that they're fighting and grinding. And we talked about that it's going to come down to 2 keys, to be honest with you, is turnover battle. Right now we're winning it, but we're losing on the scoreboard.
Right.
Okay? And the mental part of it. And turnovers become mental. Okay? They will become that at some point. You can only turn over the ball so much and give the ball to the other team for free. That's what I always when I coached my teams, we never give the ball to them for free. I had a hard time punting when I was a head coach.
Yeah.
I had a hard time punting to the other team because I hated giving it to them for free.
Right. And so the Lynx are going to try to punch this one in right before the half. But as Ken said, not for free. Handoff up the middle. This game really changed, it feels like to me, even though afterwards the Lynx ended up punting after that second fumble by Tanner Payton. When O'Gorman was driving, looking strong, the Lynx got that turnover. They moved the ball into O'Gorman territory, ended up having to punt. But they immediately got to stop and started this drive. And you can see a difference in both offense and defense so far for the Lynx since that moment. We're under 2 minutes to go, 1:30. Johnson cuts, spins near the 5. And this will be a big 3rd down and goal coming up for the Lynx. And we'll see what they do as Wickersham checks in.
Well, to me, it's 4-down territory.
Yeah.
You just just to build the momentum. You don't want to come out of I know you want to get points. I get it. But you want to make a play call here by the offensive staff. Maybe rolling Slack out here, utilizing his legs a little bit.
They're going to run it. And Johnson is stuck.
So here's
great tackle by David Alpers.
Here's the decision by Coach Garrow. I think they're going to go for it. But I would try to utilize. You got, 3 yards to the end zone?
Yep.
Utilize Slacks. And I think they're just going to maybe drain the clock down here. And it's a good decision by Coach Garrow, and then he's going to call the timeout, which it won't give O'Gorman much time if we don't get it on 4th down. That's a good call by Coach Garrow. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, the play clock's going to go all the way down to about bring the game clock all the way down to about 15 seconds. Actually, they're going to take the timeout now with 21 seconds.
And so now you're in a sticky situation because you almost wanted it on the other hash, okay, on the football field. We talked about those little dots in the middle of the field, the hashes, the right and left hash, depending on which way your offense is going. You wanted it almost on the left because you could utilize Slack's legs more, okay?
Yep.
Where he's rolling out. Now it's hard because now you see where the ball is. The ball's on the right hash. Well, guess what? The sideline's really close too. So now you're in a situation for the offensive staff. Here's where We talked about number 15 earlier in Vegans.
He did it a lot last year.
He has not been, besides his blocking, okay, because he's a tremendous blocker from the tight end position. But this is where you utilize him. Now, everybody's going to be focused on Jackson Hilton. What I would do is I wouldn't spread Jackson Hilton wide from the formation. I'd bunch him right in with Vegans, okay?
Yep.
Bunch him like a stack formation with Vegans.
Yep.
And let Jackson clear out the defense for him, and you run a little out route with Vegans right here.
Yep. Out on the left side.
Yep.
A little John Madden going on here. I wish we had that little writer thing that we had.
Telestrator or whatever.
Yeah, we could get a camera in here and you could show him the piece of paper because you just drew it out for me.
Yeah.
And it does make sense.
Yep. You have one player that they're going to focus on, clear everything out, and bring the other one underneath it.
So one way or another, the Lynx will get the ball to start the second half. Whether they'll have points on the board will really depend. And they're doing the opposite of what Ken thought. No offense.
It's okay. As long as it works.
We'll see if it does. Pass to the end zone is caught. Wow! Touchdown, Brandon Valley.
Now that's a sophomore making a play. And I don't know who made the play at wide receiver, but that was a heck of a catch, too. You saw a defender almost tip it. Maybe they'll have
I thought it was tipped.
But that is a touchdown. It doesn't matter. They called it a touchdown, and it's a touchdown.
Timer, please put 17 seconds on the clock.
So they'll put 17 seconds on the clock now.
This is an untimed.
And
Number 40, Zach Brummels in to kick the extra point.
Zach Brummels is in to kick the extra point. I don't even think Bob Logan has said who scored the touchdown. And we've got flags on the extra point.
And we'll try
So
to
we
get
couldn't even see the number.
We'll try to get who caught that pass. It may have been Skolton. I don't know.
I think it was Skolton.
That's my guess, but I don't know. But that's a big boy throw.
Yeah.
Right there. And that puts points on the board, and that can change the whole momentum for that sophomore quarterback for the Lynx.
So it turns it into a 25-yard extra point. 7-6 O'Gorman to tie it. Bad snap. And it'll stay at 7-6 with 17 seconds to go.
Kyle, we didn't talk about how important special teams were going to be in this game.
Anybody see that catch? Who made that catch? I think it was Munchkin-House. I'm not positive.
Munchkin-House.
And actually, Ken, they put Munchkin-House out wide, the running back, and he caught the touchdown pass. That's what we're getting. He was all the way across the field. It was hard to see him.
But so special teams is playing a massive part in this game. Our block punt put O'Gorman's offense at the 6 and let them score. Okay? Right there, we left points on the field with the extra point. Mm-hmm. So we gotta shore that up at halftime, because really special teams, and sorry folks for not keying on it so much in the first half, but it's really playing a massive role in this first half. We'll see what it does in the second half, but we got to clear some things up at halftime on that.
Well, either way, the Lynx do get into the end zone. They are down 1, but they get the ball to start the second half and clearly have the momentum here. Their offense really clicking on the last 2 drives, but they put points on the board on this one on a 4th and goal. This is a short kick being returned by Jacob Schwab. And he will be tackled at the 33-yard line. And you would think, even though with 2 timeouts for O'Gorman, that they're just going to take a knee on this bad boy and go into halftime with the lead.
You would assume so. But that was a big throw.
It was a huge throw. That is the type of throw we saw on 4th down last week that move the sticks for Brandon Valley. So Slimgan is going to kneel it down here. And that is how our first half will end. 2 games here at Brandon Valley. Pigskin last week, senior night this week, and both have been grinders. And what I mean by grinders is tough defenses. Every yard is fought for. A lot less finesse than we saw last week and a lot more power.
Well, and we talked about the top 3 teams, and I shouldn't be excluding Washington to put them in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
But I really feel, and we tell it to you how we feel, folks that are listening or watching or whatever you're doing.
But we try to be
tonight.
nice.
We're nice, but we're going to tell you how we feel. And our feeling, I think you agree with me. The top 3 teams in AAA are Roosevelt, Brandon Valley, and O'Gorman. And it's saying for the last 7 quarters of 2 football games, it's staying true to that.
7-6 as we head into half.
And the Lynx Marching Band will
Yep.
be coming on to the field. We are going to try to get it to where you can hear it. We're going to put our microphones out maybe, and you won't hear us for a little while, but
Yeah.
hopefully you'll be able to hear the
Lucky
Lynx
for some of
Marching
you.
Band.
Yeah.
And
But we'll turn our mics all the way up as high as they go, and we'll do our best here for you guys.
Yeah, because I know a lot of you like the Lynx Marching Band, and we like them too. And they're tremendous, and we'd love for you to hear them. So
Best band in the country, according to Bob Logan.
Absolutely. So one thing we'll talk about is after the band, we'll talk about some keys coming out of halftime and what coaching staff really adjusts to, and what Kyle talked about was that the Lynx get the ball in the second half, and that's a huge momentum builder as you went into halftime. Don't worry about the extra point, okay? Because special teams has been faltering a little. I shouldn't say a little bit, quite a bit, in the first half. Okay,
There's just so much more to be had as well.
Well, they're putting they're putting points on the board for the other team and taking them off. So you got to fix it. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they go in the gym. Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe they go in the gym and reset things. I don't know what they're doing in there, but something has to happen. So, because that's really the tale of this first half so far.
Right.
Is a blocked punt in a mix in if the game were to end right now, we'd lose by 1. If we're to
Right.
stay and special teams played a part on both scores. Okay? So we got to fix it. And I'm done harping on it, but we just have to fix it. And here's the marching band.
It's worth fighting until the end. The band is under the direction of Tyler Nettestead and is assisted by Kelvin Lopetsky. Drum majors Abby Christensen, Tanner Schultz, and Nicole Hansen. Is your band ready? Brandon Valley Marching Lynx, and they take the field in exhibition. I think they started before they wanted to there. and gentlemen, we are Brandon Valley,
Marching Lakes. Their competitive season is set to start on September 26th at the Big Sioux Review. You can stay up to date with the latest band news by checking out the Brandon Valley Band's Facebook page. The band would like to send their sincere thanks to the many people that help our program, including all the staff, parents, equipment crew, Band Parents Association, faculty, and administration. We support all your support.
All right, welcome back. Lynx down 7-6. They'll get the ball to start the second half. And like Ken talked about before the half ended, he said the two keys to the game were turnovers and mental. And out of the three phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, you can make a case that special teams is the most important when it comes to mental. Lynx give up a block punt. O'Gorman blocks a punt. They get the ball inside the 5-yard line. They score. And then the Lynx miss an extra point. That's really been the story of the game. The Lynx offense looked a lot sharper in that second quarter. Lynx defense and the O'Gorman defense looking strong. I mean, we are going to be grinding it out in the second half. What needs to happen for the Lynx to find a way to take the lead and hold on for good?
Take control of the line of scrimmage. Take control of it. You got it. It's, you know, like we talked about, these teams are evenly matched. It's really who's going to take care of the ball and take over the line of scrimmage. And hopefully at halftime they went into the gym like we talked about,
right,
and worked on a couple things special teams wise, you know, for the 18 minutes that they had in there, to really work. You know, it's to me, special teams and blocking is a one-step move, okay, for your blockers. It's really locking legs. That's what they do. That's what we do. As coaches, we show them to lock legs and the blocking, and really that's all you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody's letting the drain open. Something's happening inside there. We don't see it, and maybe we'll focus on it a little bit in the second half for you folks, but that has to be cleared up. That has to be fixed, and hopefully that's fixed. But what it's going to come down to is the line of scrimmage. Who wins the on the offensive line? Which offensive line gets their running game going, okay? What defensive line, okay, controls the line of scrimmage from their side of the ball and doesn't let the other team run the ball, okay?
Yeah.
Because to me, I think we're pretty evenly matched. I'm not super impressed with O'Gorman's passing game.
No.
Okay? We took care of their read option, their RPO read option that threw us a fit on their first drive when we watched Schlimgen run all over us for about that whole series, I should say, and then they coughed it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and then the turnover battle. The turnover, to be honest with you, you want to get kids mentally back in the game. Win the turnover battle. Get a big turnover, because that will take that whole sideline and it will lift them up. But you have to put points on the board. You got to get in that little end zone that's at the end of this football field on each side. You got to find a way, and it doesn't matter how you find that way to get in there. You got to find the way to get in there, and then that's going to hammer down to the coaching staff. They're in a chess match right now. Okay, it's a close game. They're in a chess match every game, but this game, I shouldn't say it's a must-win, but it feels like a must-win.
It does.
Because you don't want to start 0-2. And so the chess match between these coaching staffs are who's going to adjust at halftime coming out, okay, but in-game too. Because that chess match is happening, folks. The defensive coordinator is calling plays to stop the offensive coordinator and vice versa constantly. And so what coaching staff is going to rise to the occasion and either go 0-2 for the Lynx or 1-1, or for O'Gorman go 2-0 or 1-1. There's a huge difference there.
And we didn't talk about it before the game, but it doesn't help that the Lynx had to play the number 1 and number 2 teams in the state to start the season. The top 3 teams in the state for the last 2 weeks have been in Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, starting 0-2 is never ideal, and the Lynx are hopefully going to hold on and win this game. They're going to take the lead, hold on, and win this game. But that is tough, start the season with number 1 and then number 2, and you move from 2 to 3. I mean, even if they lose this game, which I'm not saying they will, I think they will come back and win it. You're still going to be in the top 5 at 0-2, and I don't see this turning into a blowout anytime soon, either way. So you're going to have 2 competitive games against the top 3 teams in the state.
Well, one thing about this coaching staff and these Lynx team traditionally through the years, especially under Coach Garrow and his staff, is they've gotten better throughout the season.
Yep.
They just have grown throughout a season. And what that tells you is you have really good coaches. I mean, really good coaches that are making adjustments week to week on the practice field to make these kids better, okay? And so what do they do? Like we talked about, we can't look at next week. We can't look back to last week. It's within these white lines right now that the game's being played. And this game's the most important of the season right now.
It's your championship every week, as P.J. Fleck would say. As we get set to start our second half, Andrew Nelson, the lefty kicker, as the Lynx scored right before the half and are down 7-6, another short kick. And they do have to fall on it, as this one is returned briefly by Jordan Johnson. But the Lynx will start with pretty good field position. They're going to be at the 32-yard line.
And that's great field position on your kickoff return. You want that. You know, the kickoff team for O'Gorman hasn't been special at all.
No.
And so special teams are really playing a big part in this football game, and hopefully things start to turn for your Lynx offense.
It's the least talked about, but can sometimes be the most consequential. And now this Lynx offense, seeing if they can hold on to some momentum. They're going to throw it out wide. That's what we were talking about. They get some nice blocks. Here's Jackson Hilton to the 50. Down the sideline. He's inside the 30. Can he get there? He is in. And just like that, we talked about it all week, Ken. It's a touchdown for the Lynx, and they regain the lead.
It doesn't matter if the ball goes 50 yards in the air or if it only goes 5. Get the ball in your playmakers' hands, and they will do the work. The run after the catch, that's what Jackson Hilton has. That's what Tate Johnson, that's what they have. Vegans, they have a tremendous run after the catch ability, and you just saw that there. And so now we talked about the last 2 passes for Slack, okay? Prior to the last 2 passes, okay, to these last 2 passes were interceptions. Now his last 2 passes have been touchdowns.
A 67-yard touchdown. Extra point is good. It's 13-7. And the biggest sigh of relief has to be Lucas Slack, who is all of a sudden got all the confidence in the world here after that meat-seeking missile touchdown throw right before the half. And as we said, finally getting some receivers in space. Yes.
Thank you, offensive staff. We've talked about it for the last 7 quarters. Okay, last game and the first half, just if it's a 5-yard pass, get him comfortable and let those playmakers play ball. And you just saw that. That was a tremendous catch and run by Jackson Hilton.
Oh, athletic as all get out. Can do it on both sides of the ball. And he just burned down the sideline because it looked like a couple of O'Gorman Knights were going to catch him. But not today.
And just feel the roller coaster for your quarterback, your sophomore quarterback. Like we talked about, 2 interceptions, okay? We were talking about his last couple passes were a couple interceptions. And then all of a sudden, he's lighting the world on fire with 2 touchdowns in the last 4 minutes.
And the whole team is just sipping confidence right now, including special teams, who are going to pin back O'Gorman inside their 20-yard line. And now it's the defense's turn, who we talked about has been very strong so far this year, was strong last year. And this is their opportunity to really set the tone,
And
especially
now
with the lead.
What that'll do, okay, with, like, for instance, our other wide receivers and like Sam Skolton, okay, is you can fake that little bubble screen that they ran there, and run Sam Skolton flying up the field, and he'll probably be wide open because they'll be focusing on Jackson Hilton.
First down, Schlimgen. Going to keep it, and he's going to lose some yardage on the play. As Parker Reed, who's been playing both sides of the football in this game.
And we haven't called his name a lot, if any, on defense for the first half, and that's really uncommon because he really makes plays on defense. To me, he's the best defensive end in the state of South Dakota, and he really needs to turn it up in this second half, and he did on that play.
I'm sure he has made an impact. Second down now. Schlimgen sacked. This Lynx defense is all over the place now. They've settled in.
So even Parker Reed made an impact in there. He wasn't on the tackle at all, or the sack, but they teamed him, and they let the guard go free.
It's impressive.
Hey, that's the Parker Reed effect. You're trying to slow him down, somebody else steps up, and that's a great play.
And they've got to keep an eye on him. And as you said, it gives everybody else, it gives all other 10 players an opportunity. 3rd and long. 3rd and 17. Schlimgen rolling, more pressure, and he's sacked again. Another sack by this Lynx defense.
And that's going to be Dahl, I think. Ryan Dahl. Nope, Shunky.
Damian Shunky. But Ryan Dahl has been a big factor in this game as well. Dahl and Reed, Shunky.
And there you go. We talked about the keys coming out of halftime. What defensive line or offensive line is going to control the line of scrimmage? You just saw the Lynx defensive line control the line of scrimmage.
And now we're going to have I think O'Gorman just needs to settle down a little bit here. Thanks to our sponsors, Alliance Communications, Sioux Valley Energy, Midco, and Sanford. We're going to have more sponsors as the season goes on, but for now we thank them. And I don't know what sponsored this quick effort by the Lynx, a quick touchdown from Jackson Hilton. I'm telling you, after that last fumble by Tanner Payton, this game has completely turned around.
It's just a coaching staff adjusting. That's what it was at halftime. They decided that they're going to play in the backfield a little bit with their wide receivers, their playmakers. They're going to throw a little out route, a real quick swing pass, and Jackson Hilton just exploited the defense, just ran past the defense. And that's adjustment, okay? Because, like I said, it should open up the deep game now because they're going to have to come down on those swing passes now.
And we've seen Slack. He hasn't completed one yet, but he can throw a good deep ball. The Lynx are going to have great field position here. Return on the play by Egan. Egan breaks a tackle. He's inside the 30. Flags down late. This could be a face mask.
And Egan's a sophomore with some good moves there on the punt return. And to trust a sophomore on the punt return is a lot of confidence from your coaching staff because you're handling the ball on a sticky situation. Punts are hard to field.
Yes, they are. I should know in my total of 0 punt returns in my life.
Well, hey.
It looks hard.
It is tough.
As a Vikings fan, Marcus Sherrill's always made it look so easy.
Yeah, he was great.
And they're talking about it here.
Well, it's obviously going to be against O'Gorman. And Coach Garrow is going to decide if the yardage is going to be good for them to re-kick, which I don't think you want to do.
No.
Or to take the yards.
Because if it's a face mask, it's a spot foul. Wish we had a microphone up to the referee, but So an illegal formation on O'Gorman. That's declined. And now there's a block in the back. So they're going to decline the penalty. They're going to move him back to the 35-yard line.
So
Looked like a
that's
face
not-
back was missed.
But
Face
that's
mask.
not offsetting. It's
I
it's
think
a
Brandon
penalty
Valley-
on
yeah.
each side.
That is true, but I think they decide. I think Brandon Valley. I think Coach Garrow just decided it wasn't worth the 5 yards to re-kick, because if you do an illegal formation, you have to re-kick.
Right.
So they're just going to take the ball from the 35-yard line, and they're going to give it to Tate Johnson at the 31. I've never seen that happen, though.
Yeah,
I've never seen
usually
offsetting
it's-
penalties where they decline one.
Right, and usually you just want to re-kick,
Yeah.
and that's usually what happens. But hey, hats off to Coach Garrow. He makes a call, and hey, we're on their side of
Right.
side of the 50, and that's what matters.
Because if you re-kick, like we just talked about, returning punts is so difficult. You might as well just take the ball at the 35-yard line, live to fight another day. You're not going to get much better than that. Here's Slack. He's going to run it himself. Heads left across the 30. And the Lynx are going to be a couple yards short.
And there's the maturity of Slack. Okay, we saw in the first half he would just pitch it. Okay, he would just pitch that ball on that option to the left. That time he kept it. He saw that the defensive end went to the running back and he cut underneath it. That's the maturity that will start growing with Slack here. And we're starting to see it in this game, and hopefully it keeps on going.
Well, now he's heading towards the sideline, trying to get the play in. And the Lynx are going to have to take a timeout here. Some miscommunication going on somewhere where Slack couldn't get the call.
And that's not a bad time.
No.
This series is massive for the Lynx offense. If they can put points on the board again and make it a 2-score game, that makes it rough for that other side of the football, okay, that other team. And so you need points here. You really do for the momentum in this game. Everything's on your side. Don't lose the momentum.
Right.
And that's a good timeout. I know the play clock was predicting it when they were down to 10, 11 seconds, but actually it might be in their favor. And so that's a good thing. That's a good timeout.
And the Lynx are at the 28-yard line. They're going to have a 3rd and 3 coming up. You would think, even with the powerful legs of Tate Johnson, that if they maybe get a yard, maybe are a yard short, you would have to think they'd go for it here.
I would
45-yard field goal range, yeah.
I would almost run a 3-receiver set, trip set again.
Up to the
Okay.
top of your screen.
Up to the top of your screen, run that same play, and let your quarterback or whoever's in, or your Jackson Hilton, and they're not going to do it, but let him work.
And we'll see if they run to that right side of the line. There they are. And Johnson's still on his feet. And they get a first down.
And never doubt 21. We should
He
have
popped
said,
out of
just
that
give
thing.
it to him.
Yeah. We're all thinking ourselves, just give it to him.
Just give it to 21. He'll get the first down and more.
He always comes through.
14-yard gain.
Death taxes, Tate Johnson on 3rd and short.
On 3rd and short.
Yep.
That's right.
Those are the 3 guarantees in life.
Yeah.
So first down from the 14. Another good drive for the Lynx. Slack. Another short pass is caught to the left side inside the 5-yard line.
And now, like, the momentum, the mental part of the game in number 8, in our sophomore quarterback, you can feel it. You can actually feel his maturity and his confidence right now. He's completing passes, and that's huge. It doesn't have to be big down the field passes. You're looking at 5-yard passes, to be honest with you. And, hey, we're moving the ball.
Look like Carson Matchlin, the punter, and getting some time here on offense, making that catch. Him and Skolton trade time. Here's Johnson left side, pushing forward down near the 1. A little closer than the 1, in fact. And it'll be second and goal.
3-yard gain on that play.
And this would really,
1 yard line.
as we're midway through the third quarter, this would really knock the wind right out of the sails of O'Gorman here. 13 consecutive for the Lynx. They're trying to add more. Here's Johnson. Jumps up in the air, and he breaks the plane. Touchdown, Brandon Valley. Remember, that goal line goes all the way up to the high heavens. If any part of that ball gets over, it's a touchdown. It did. Make it 19 in a row now for the Lynx.
And they're going to go for the extra point instead of going for 2. I like it. Why I like it, a lot of people are going to say, go for 2 so we can get 14 points. No, they need to work on this.
Yeah.
This is good. I mean, they're not in practice, I get it, but they need to work in this game situation. And these extra points, they need to work on them.
Senior Wyatt Reed is the long snapper. Mashlin to hold. Looked like one of the members of the O'Gorman Knights was offsides. They don't throw a flag. It doesn't matter because they would have declined the penalty because the kick was good. 20 in a row since late in the first quarter, and the Lynx offense, which I'll come out and say it. I hope none of the coaches watch this. Looked a little sluggish at times last week. Looked a little. I mean, it's a brand new offense. It's a brand new offense that they have never run before. It's really starting to click here in this second half.
Well,
it looks.
And I'll give them some excuses, and legitimate
Please.
excuses. Is that
Because they're going to hate me after me saying that.
Because they had a sophomore quarterback
Right.
starting his first game ever in varsity. And it's not against – I'm not even to call other teams, but it was against the number 1 seed. It was against the number 1 team in the state of South Dakota. And, yeah, did they offensively, did they play tremendous? No, they did. They were really average. But think about the offseason, Kyle.
Yeah.
I
never even thought about that.
I mean, the offseason for these kids has been a whirlwind. I can only imagine. And to step on a football field had been kind of uneasy a little bit last week. But now they're used to it.
Good kick by Brummels. From the 3. And a return by Zach Riddle.
And right now, okay, and Jason Poppinga, okay, and Coach Garrow, both these staffs, right now the Lynx coaching staff is out dueling that other coaching staff.
No question.
Okay, it was about adjustments at halftime. It's not about what's happening right now. It's about the adjustment that was made at halftime, and right now it's working for the Lynx.
20-7 Brandon Valley, as we said, 20 in a row for them as the pass goes to the outside. A nice open field tackle made. And that'll bring up a 2nd and 8. Pass was caught by O'Gorman. I believe that was Huners.
And throughout the whole football game, the defense has been playing tremendous. The 7 points that are on the board is because of the block punt, and O'Gorman started with the ball with 6 yards to go into the end zone. A defense is typically not going to win.
Pass is caught for a first down by Stuckel. Heads to the right side. He's across midfield. And that is what O'Gorman's offense needed, as they're already across the 50.
Well, they did a lot of those short, intermediate passes, kind of like slant patterns. Okay, they did a lot of that in the first half. But remember, when their momentum was driving O'Gorman, we're talking about on offense, they'd put the ball on the turf and a fumble. I mean, twice. And so they've killed their own momentum by themselves.
Schlimgen out of the shotgun. 3 wide receivers at the bottom of your screen. And now we're going to have flags. This is going to be a false start on O'Gorman. Yeah. And I'll bring up 1st and 15.
And so right now they're unraveling a little bit too. They got a couple good plays and now a negative play. Now O'Gorman's offense, let's see if they can capitalize on not having continuous negative plays. Okay, that's what's happened to them in the first half offensively.
Pass is caught, but a big open field tackle. Pass was caught by Stuckel, and Muchkanaus makes the stop.
And so what O'Gorman's doing is they're just running quick post patterns and some slant patterns inside the middle of the field, and they're breaking our zone. We're in a zone right now, and so it's how you tighten that zone to not let that free release.
Gain of 6 on the play. 2nd and 9. Schlimgen trying to stretch the field, and he does for a first down. As that pass was caught by Zach Riddle.
Okay, so what defense the Lynx are in is it's called a cover 2 defense.
Yeah.
And so your outside linebackers are curl the flats. Okay, they're going to drop back and they're going to go to a curl. They actually do a real curl, and they get to the flats. Okay, and that the safeties go quarters back, and where O'Gorman's hitting them on 3 plays on this drive is right where the linebacker's evading.
Another fumble. And it looked like the Knights were on it at first, but they didn't hang on to it, and a third fumble, and the Lynx have the ball again.
And, hey, it's just, I don't know what it is. They get a good drive going. We talked about O'Gorman in the first half twice. Good drives, fumble on 2 series. You get a good drive in the late in the third quarter, and all of a sudden, fumble.
Yeah.
Wow.
8 minutes into the third quarter. We got 4 minutes to go here in the third. And not only has O'Gorman turned the ball over 3 times, they've turned over the ball 3 times on their way to scoring. First down handoff to Johnson, not much, as they try to go up the middle. So he was on the bottom of the pile for O'Gorman.
So the last
Schwab.
So the last play, the Lynx had a trip formation to the top of your screen, 3 receivers, and the other eligible receiver is your tight end on the right side, the bottom of your screen. Okay.
Yep.
Tight against the line. At some point, he's going to pop open. They got to utilize him.
Wickersham in now. Play action. Slack. Going deep, and it is out of bounds, incomplete. Intended for Vegans, and it looked like he had control of that bad boy, but the referees call it incomplete.
And we just talked about it prior to that play. At some point, they're putting all the heavy side to the top of the screen, your receivers, and Vegans is going to pop open, and he was there. And you almost wanted Slack to throw that ball about 1.5 seconds quicker than what he did.
But it was right there. I mean, that was quite the throw. That's probably the 3rd or 4th throw this year for Slack that has fallen incomplete that has been a good-looking throw. Let's see if he's got one here. And it was a good throw, just a little bit too far ahead of Sam Skolton, and it is incomplete. And the Lynx will end up having to punt.
But you see what that short passing game's doing. That short one to Jackson Hilton. This is all played off of what that short pass in the beginning of the second half. This is all transpiring off of that. Now the O'Gorman Knights secondary is now playing a softer zone because they have to. And now you see routes are busting wide open over the middle. That was just kind of overthrown ball.
And this one is going to be downed at the 44-yard line. So a short punt. And O'Gorman is going to get the ball in good field position here at the 45. But I agree with you. And the confidence of Lucas Slack, I hope, stays high because both of those throws were good throws on that last drive.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to tell the refs how to do their job because I'm an umpire. I understand how tough high school sports are, but it looked like he made that catch, but we do not have the best angle here. Pass to the right side is caught by Rydell, excuse me, and he gets to the 35-yard line.
It's going to be interesting, Coach Christensen, our defensive coordinator, Lynx defensive coordinator, if he's going to change his defense here. And we have a player down. It looks like number 30, Ryan Dahl.
Ryan Dahl, number 30.
Yeah.
And it's going to be one of those cramps.
He's a little warm. Black on black, man.
And
That's what happens.
If you want an injury, you want a cramp.
Yeah, of all things to get.
Right. But defensively, we're sitting in a true cover 2 zone, and so they're exploiting that where those outside linebackers are getting to the flats. So once they get out of their curl and get to the flat, those receivers are just sitting right there.
In a wide open, just basically finding a wide open space in the defense.
And so what I would do is and Coach Christensen's a tremendous defensive coordinator, is show a cover 2, show it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then jump right into man. And that quarterback's going to throw right into where he wants to throw that pocket, but you'll have man-to-man coverage there, and he won't evade that spot.
And Schlimgen has kept it pretty safe so far in this second half. It'll be first down, handoff, and it looked like Payton ran into his own man, number 71, Devin Brenner. And honestly, if you could, you give Brenner the tackle because there was no Lynx in sight.
And let's see what kind of defense the secondary is going to be into. They're going to hopefully they show something and jump into something else, because they're really trying to hit these slot receivers inside that zone. We'll see.
2nd and 10. From the 35, and Schlemgen is going to hold on to it. He is going to be very close to a first down, but I don't think he quite got there. Going to be about a yard short. Again, Breest on the tackle.
First, we have to stop the run before we can talk
They're
about
gonna move
the
the
secondary.
sticks. Sorry, I was just saying they moved the sticks, but you're right. You're right.
And so defensively, we have bent a lot, okay, but we haven't broke. And that some of that has to do with O'Gorman putting the ball on the turf. But how does your defense respond here?
Another fumble. Schlemgen on the handoff. That's a couple of handoffs now from Schlemgen to Tanner Payton that the players have had trouble, and that's on that read option because Schlemgen has to decide whether he's giving that thing off or not, and I don't think they're on the same page.
Well, and maybe Schlemgen's not pulling the ball out quick enough.
Right.
And so I don't know, but it's this team obviously has run this 1,000 times, this RPO, and they're putting the ball on the ground a lot.
And they're going to throw it here. Pass is caught again by Rydell, and he has had a big second half. At least 4 catches in this half. He has looked very impressive, and that's really been Tegan Schlimgen's safety blanket here. And it's going to be a big 3rd and 3 coming up.
It's going to be interesting what Coach Christensen calls here, if it's just going to be straight man-to-man or not. But it looks like they're going to – yeah, they may be going to man. It looks like they are slipping to man. Man-to-man coverage on the trip side down here.
Carter Peterson in the backfield for the first time tonight. Schlimgen gives it off. Ball tipped, and is it intercepted?
It's intercepted.
The ball was tipped up in the air, and the referees say Lynx ball.
So another good, okay, and I'm gonna give the hats off to the coaching staff again. Is Coach Christensen? You saw everybody they switched the coverage to man. Okay, they all of a sudden at the last second they switched it to man, and that quarterback just threw it up to where he thought he was throwing it to a spot, and it bounced off the wide receiver. Thank God. Okay, and then great interception. But that's a great play call by the defensive coordinator, Coach Christensen, to switch coverages up from the cover 2 2-man coverage, and we have I believe a Lynx player down on the field. But that's just a coaching staff that's doing a tremendous job offensively, the offensive staff and defensive staff. And that's about in-game we talked about, not so much what halftime the adjustments, because they obviously made adjustments at halftime.
Right.
But in-game adjustments. And, we're focusing, a lot of us focus on, and fans focus on the players. And at the end of the day, it is the players that convert. But it's the decisions that the coaching staffs are making, okay? It's the decisions that they're making in game situations that will change the momentum or the outcome of this football game. And that was a great play call.
Not sure who tipped it, but the ball was picked off by Muchkanaus, who's just had a monster game. He's had a couple of splash plays already in this one. And the Lynx offense will come back on the field. Lynx offense has looked better today, but it has been all about the defense. 4 turnovers in this game. I don't know if you can give credit to the Lynx defense on all of them, but they certainly have held their own here.
Well, on the stat sheet, it's going to go credit Lynx defense.
Yep.
That's and the scoreboard is going to say, it's not going to say how many times they fumbled,
Right.
or how many times they didn't sustain drives, and we're talking about O'Gorman. The scoreboard's going to either say a W or an L at the end of the night. And so at the end of the night, what's going to happen is I hats off to this Lynx coaching staff. I'm severely impressed.
Wow.
Because I'm telling you, in the first half, we even talked about it. The team look flat, sluggish, flat, and didn't just grab momentum. They didn't want to, take that momentum with them. And
Playing not to lose almost.
Yeah, and something happened with 4 minutes. Okay, that drive was great to get 6 points going into halftime. That's a good momentum booster.
Yep.
But the coaching staff has to make adjustments. They have to at halftime. That's the key. They're different halves.
Right.
You almost reset yourself and only play 2 more quarters. And so what adjustments do you make? And I focus a lot on the coaching staff and watching them. And you could just see the change was going to come with Coach Christensen in changing up the coverage, because he was getting beat. Our zone was getting beat, and he just jumped it, and it caused a turnover.
He should teach a master class, but you can't give away company secrets.
No.
2nd down and 5 as the fourth quarter starts, and a long run down the right sideline. And he is going to outrun oh, no, they're saying he was out of bounds. I was going to say, the O'Gorman player didn't just give up here. They're saying that he was out of bounds down the right side, or else he would have been gone. And this will be a gain of 19 for Johnson. Boy, we don't have a great angle over here. I thought he was gone.
Yeah, and he must have stepped out of bounds, and that's the way it goes. But that's a big, big gainer. Can you just feel the momentum? You can feel the momentum from the crowd. The crowd's feeding into it. You can feel it from the Brandon Valley, the Lynx sideline. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of confidence going on, and there should be a lot of confidence. Okay, you've controlled the whole third quarter.
Yeah,
I mean, the turnovers, I don't know how lopsided they are right now, but it's got to be 2-1 at least.
it might be 4-1.
Yeah, and so what we're talking in favor of the Lynx, okay? And we talked about what's one of the keys is winning the turnover battle, because turnovers are deflating, and they're huge momentum pickups for the other team that's getting the turnover. from the other team. So you've seen a lot of that in the third quarter. It's how you capitalize off of the turnover and just don't waste the turnover, especially offensively. You just don't waste that turnover. You go get points off that turnover.
Well, the last 6 minutes of the second quarter belonged to the Lynx. The entire third quarter belonged to the Lynx, but here's the one that really matters. As the second play of the fourth quarter coming up here, the first one turning out well for the Lynx, and a run up the middle for Tate Johnson. My goodness. He does not quit until he is all on the turf, gain of 5.
That is a great sign of a great running back as they just keep moving forward. Never back. We talked about it last week, how he is the type of running back that always moves forward. He doesn't really go shifty sideline to sideline. He hits the hole, and he hits it real fast.
And with the fourth quarter here, the Lynx are going to try to establish the run game as much as possible. And this time it's not going to work, as Johnson was gobbled up. No gain on the play, and a big 3rd and 5 coming up with the Lynx at the 47-yard line. And another first down here would be key. Keep this drive alive, keep eating clock. We'll see what they dial up here for Lucas Slack. You thinking run here?
I don't know. 3rd down, you want the momentum. You got 5 yards to go.
We'll find out. They will throw. Caught. Carroll. First down, Brandon Valley.
Peyton Carroll.
First catch of the year.
But that's just another good throw by Slack. It's getting the ball. It's not these big down the field throws. It's manageable throws, and his confidence is just raising. We've seen a completely different quarterback in the second half.
Calm, cool, and collected. First down and 10. Lynx in enemy territory now. Johnson spins away and pushes forward. He's the Glenn Ross. He's the closer, and he is always closing.
What I'd like to see kind of from the offense is they know we're going to run. And I know we're getting chunks of yards on first down running the ball, but maybe a little play action because they're going to come flying up to the line. Play action and hit them over the top with Vegans from the tight end position.
Yes. Vegans hasn't touched the ball much at all this year.
Look how much they're stacked to the line. There's 8 guys up in the box to stop Tate Johnson, and they do.
Well, they're not going to do it yet. You're right. 2 yards on the play. That's going to bring up a 3rd and about 3. As we are at 9 minutes to go here. From the 40-yard line. And you're almost in purgatory here at 3rd and 3. If it gets to be 4th down and you don't pick up any yards here, what do you do?
Well, you punt. You let that defense come back on the field.
Let's see if they'll have to. They're going to run it. And Johnson gets the first down. Still on his feet. Fumbled the ball, and O'Gorman has picked it up. So Tate Johnson tries to fight for more yardage as he got inside the 20. He tried to spin. And the Knights with a big turnover here with 8:40 to go. They're not dead yet. And this is a big drive coming up for this Lynx defense.
And you do not see that very often from Tate Johnson, but I don't know if I've seen this many fumbles in one football game.
There's got to be at least 7 of them. 6 or 7. So Schlimgen, who started the game strong, has had some problems here in this second half as this pass is too tall, incomplete, intended again for Zach Riedel. I shouldn't say that because Schlimgen has made some good throws in this second half. The offense has not put any points on the board. I don't want to talk bad about any high school kids. He has looked sharp.
And another cramp on the field. But you talked about how the defense, how Coach Christensen has changed his coverage, and it's working. It's working now, and now that's what we talk about, the chess match that's going on. Offensive coordinator for O'Gorman, calling plays to bust open either the zone or man coverage. And all of a sudden, Coach Christensen, from the defensive side of the ball, the defense coordinator for the Lynx, winning that chess match, and he has all night.
And let's see now that Schlimgen is going to have to throw his way back with O'Gorman to get into this game. They throw it out left. It's caught. We'll see if the Lynx decide to try and maybe pin their ears back here, as that's going to be a first down. Tanner Payton, who is out of the backfield catching the ball, that's worked. That's worked quite well.
But we're going to give them 5-6 yards because remember, it's a 2-score game. It's 20-7. We're going on almost 8 minutes left in the football game. They have to open up their offense at some point here.
Yeah, we'll see if the Lynx eventually do decide to bring pressure. They only bring 4 here. Pass outside is caught. Pass was complete from Sam Stuckel. Nice tackle on the play by Max Van Westen. And now O'Gorman's going to hurry it up here. And they don't have much of a choice. They got to put points on the board here, and they got to do it fast. 7:40 to go in this game. Going to throw it out wide again. As it is Payton, tackled by Owen Warren. And another first down for the Knights.
And so it's another first down, but it's not big chunks of yards. And that clock keeps on working itself down. They have to play into the clock. Both teams with 2 timeouts.
Well, what you can't afford if you're the Lynx is a splash play here. Let them keep doing this. And that is caught for a first down. Broken tackle. Down to the 45-yard line is Stuckel. And they're still going, not huddling. 16-yard gain on the play, first down from the 44. 7 minutes to go here. Lynx have scored 20 in a row. Gotten some big turnovers, and this looks like a busted play. Schlimgen is going to get a short yardage gain on the play, maybe 2. And with them moving the ball this well, that hurts.
It does, but we're sitting with about 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
And who's got it? It's Schlimgen. He is not going to have first down yardage down near the 42-yard line. And it's going to be a 3rd and 3, obviously 4-down territory. A field goal doesn't do much for you here. They need to get into the end zone. Schlimgen out of the shotgun, 3rd down and 3. Line to gain is the 34. Schlimgen throws. It's caught for a first down inside the 25. Sam Stuckel again. So it's really been a lot of Stuckel and Zach Riddle, number 17, for O'Gorman.
And so what's happening is your linebacker, your middle linebacker, and they're going into a hurry-up. I'll touch on it in just 1 second.
From the 24, first down and 10. Schlimgen's going to run. And he cannot get away from the Lynx defense. I believe that was Shunky on the tackle.
And Owen Warren is he's not reading the run to pass to run really well. He's not getting a good enough drop back on the pass, and that middle of the field's wide open. 2nd
and 5. They're going to give it off to Payton, and he's going to move the sticks for a first down again. We're under 5.5 to play now. 20-7, Brandon Valley leading. Now they are going to huddle up.
7-yard gain, ball spotted at the 12-yard line.
So a good drive for O'Gorman here, but they've been inside the red zone, I think, 3 times. Either 3 or 4 times. Only scored once, and it was off a blocked punt. Five minutes to go here. Schlimgen to the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Sam Stuckel, but a nice defensive play out there. And it was knocked away by Noah Thompson.
Second down.
And so everything tightens up inside this red zone, and that's why they are huddling. With the clock stopped at 4:53 with that incomplete pass. Lynx defense needs to lock up here.
Second down and 10 from the 12. Caught. But short gain on the play, maybe 5 yards. Pass was caught by
Pass caught by Preston
Konechki.
Slimgan. Gain of 6 yards on that play.
And it's going to be a big third down coming up here. Three wide receiver set. Go ahead, Ken.
Lynx are in man-to-man coverage across the board.
Third down and 5. They're going to give it off. Paid in. Boy, he's going to be close to a first down. I think they're going to move it for him. It's going to be first and goal with 4:14 to go.
Gain of 4 yards on that play. Good enough for a 19
Number
down.
74,
Ball spotted at the 2-yard line.
William Peterson in for O'Gorman.
Bringing in an extra offensive lineman.
Schlemgen with Payton to his left. They're not messing around. They're going to run it, and he's into the end zone. And that's a touchdown for O'Gorman. So that was like a teeth-pulling drive for O'Gorman. That took a lot of time off the clock. That took almost 5 minutes off the clock. 3:45 to go. 2 timeouts left for O'Gorman. And they make it a one-score game.
So 3:45 to go. How does our running game now play a big part in this? It's going to play a big part because we need to drain that clock and keep the ball away from that offense. Who's going to win the line of scrimmage? We talked about the key. The real key of the game is offensively. If you're going to control the line of scrimmage, this drive is where you need it. You need to control the line of scrimmage. You need to take complete time off that board. Like Kyle said, they have 2 timeouts remaining. It's a 6-point ball game, and I never want to say that, and I'm not going to say it. Maybe I'll turn off my mic and tell Kyle this.
Please, because I have no idea.
I'll just say it. I hope that extra point, when it was 7-6, does not come to play in this football game.
Hey, man, if you weren't going to say it, I was.
Okay.
I'm not a jinx guy, so
I
if they score, it won't be because of me.
I have a hard time saying it.
Yeah. Well, you're a coach.
It's tough.
You can't bring that energy out here. Lynx are going to try to make everybody forget about it.
But the one thing we can do to not even think about that is control the line of scrimmage and let Tate Johnson run the ball.
And with the way the team has kicked so far in this game, O'Gorman, the Lynx could end up with decent field position. We'll see if Andrew Nelson kicks this one deep. And they're going to onside it. And that is very good news for the Lynx. That was an interesting decision by O'Gorman to try and onside that one.
Well, it comes to a point where Brandon Valley has a really good running game.
Yeah.
Okay. Tate Johnson put the ball on the ground right around inside the 20. That never happens.
Never.
I can't remember a fumble from that kid. I just can't. In all the time we've called games and him at running back, so the chances of him putting the ball on the ground again are very slim.
Low snap. And a good decision for Slack just to fall on this one. If you're the Lynx right now, you want to get some good yardage here on second down. O'Gorman's going to take their second timeout. You want to get some good yardage here. Make them use their last timeout and then move the sticks. That's big.
And they're going to stack the box. Okay, they're going to bring 8 I can guarantee it, okay, because we're going to bring in an extra tight end and try to run the ball. So how do you control that line of scrimmage? It's going to be, hey, I want it worse than you at the end of the day.
Right.
Between these kids. And it's going to be Tate Johnson making moves, okay, with his vision and keep on churning and you know, making sure that he's going forward. And you see Jackson Hilton's out of the game, okay? There's something wrong. There's an injury or something right now. And so we know he's had some cramping issues, so that weapon's off the field. Not that you're going to go to him, but these swing passes, okay, that we saw Jackson Hilton in the beginning of the third quarter, okay, run for a touchdown. That's just like a run play, okay? It's a short little pass, swinging it out to the flats, and that can utilize while he's off the field now. So who else can step up? We talked about Vegans in this. If they're going to stack that box, and I'm talking 8 players in that mud, okay, within
Talking about
5,
O'Gorman's defense.
Yeah, talking about they're going to have 8 in that box within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Inside a square box. From tackle to tackle, the O'Gorman defense, here's a good time where you run play action and get Vegans straight up the seam. Play action, straight up the seam, because what those linebackers and that extra safety that's down in the box, they're going to come storming in on that play action.
Boy, it's risky, but if it works. It's risky, but if it works. From the shotgun. Johnson right side. This is a big run for Johnson.
Or you just give it to Tate Johnson.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea either.
So they'll
it's going to be third down, though.
They're going to hold on to their timeout.
Made by number 17.
And the Lynx got to let this clock bleed. Are you at the point now with 3:16 to go that you leak this thing all the way down and call a timeout, or do you just wait for, or you just run a play here?
I think you try to draw them off sides, to be honest with you, and then call a timeout.
3rd and 2.
I would hard count them.
They're not going to. They're just going to run it.
And you see, so there was 9 people inside the box to stop that run.
Yep.
9. Here is the tricky situation for the Lynx, okay? You know that they're going to do the same thing. They're going to bring if you're going to go for on 4th down here, which Coach Garrow may.
47-yard line, yeah. He might.
You have to put it in your quarterback's hands now.
Yeah.
And you have to your next best player out there, and what I mean is offensive weapon, is Vegans. Okay?
Yep.
Because Hilton's back here to the side. He's on the sideline stretching out. Okay? I'm telling you, play action. They think it's going to Tate Johnson. They are so keyed on him right now that you slip that tight end. He all he does is initial blocks and then gets out. And it's going to be right there because there's no safeties to cover. I just watched on that play, folks, and hopefully you did too, that the only 2 O'Gorman Knight defenders that were outside of the box were the 2 corners. So that means 9 were in the box.
Yep.
9. And they stuffed it. And they're going to do the same thing because it's what now, 4th and 3.
I think what they're going to do, the Lynx are going to do first, is they're going to try and, like you said, on 3rd down, they're going to try and get them off sides here.
I would try to hard count them, and just try it. I know it.
You got 2 timeouts. They're going to run it. Slack. He got the 1st down. Oh, wait a minute. It's going to be close.
I think they're going to spot it.
I think he moved the sticks.
Hey, if all else fails, let Slack run the ball.
And, boy, they're going to measure it. Whew. They are going to measure it. It was not a great spot. I thought he got closer to the 42.
And we can't see the yard marker.
Boy, that was close. I thought he picked it up, but then they moved the ball back to the 44. It was 4th and 3, and they needed to get to the 40, and they were at the 47-yard line. Well, 47 minus 44 is 3. This is really close.
It's a first down. Yep. First down.
And they move it by the skin of their teeth. You can barely see it from here. That is by the nose of the football. It doesn't get much closer than that.
Nope, and so, hey, what a great play call by the offense there. They think it's going to Tate Johnson, and Slack cuts up underneath that defensive end and gets the first down and gets 3 yards and an inch.
They say baseball is a game of inches. That was legitimately a first down by maybe 2 inches.
Now the key to this is going to be no turnovers. Do not put the ball on the ground.
Johnson's already had his one. He won't have another one. So first down and 10. Barely, but enough. With the Lynx leading by 6 from the 44. A big play by the sophomore Lucas Slack. Johnson chewing up some clock.
The Knights are out of timeouts, so that clock is going to keep on churning. They need to use the play clock. We're down to about 30 seconds to go on the play clock. And that's going to bring us to about
about to minute 50.
Yep, real close.
So what Brandon Valley's doing here is basically what Roosevelt did to the Lynx. If they don't pick up a first down here, they're going to pin them way deep in their own territory with less than a minute to go. Johnson stopped.
And that's what O'Gorman wanted, because they're going to third down is going to have to be snapped with about a minute 9 to go, so they technically could get the ball back.
Not going to be with very much time.
No.
Not very much at all. And when I don't know how far they zoomed in on that run by Lucas Slack, but that was a first down by an inch. I mean, it was close. And I don't think it was the greatest spot in the world. I think Slack had it pretty easily, but they moved the ball back a bit.
Coach Garrow's going to call timeout.
That's the right play. 109. So Lynx are going to run a play here. It's going to take about 5 seconds to do that. That's going to put you at a minute 4. Then the play clock stops. The Lynx have 1 timeout left. They'll let the clock run all the way down to about 24 seconds. Then they'll punt. If I'm any of the Brandon Valley coaches, I'm just going up to Carson Mashlin right now and saying, kick it as far as you can. Just kick it. Just get it out of there.
Right.
Anything you can do. Might even have him take a couple steps back when he's taking the snap, just to give him a little more space.
Well, the key is going to be holding on to the ball. That's the key to this whole last play offensively for the Lynx if they don't gain the first down.
What a great second half effort by the Lynx.
It has. In this fourth quarter really has been the battle of just one offense and one defense. We've seen the defense, off, and it's not the defense's fault again. Our offense gave them the ball for free. I was talking about giving it to them for free, a turnover, and the defense is put back on the field. And hats off to O'Gorman's offense. They found something to move the ball. It wasn't big chunks of yards, but it was methodically down the field, and they scored.
Yeah, 6 turnovers, I believe. We don't have the stats in front of us, but 6 turnovers between the two teams. I believe it's 4 for O'Gorman, 2 for the Lynx. 3rd and 8. And Johnson's going to get the call. And O'Gorman's going to at least have a chance here. The clock
Johnson on the carry.
is rolling. The play clock is rolling. And with about 25 seconds on the game clock, the Lynx will take their last timeout. And then they will try to pin O'Gorman deep. It'll be 4th and 5.
Bring up 4th down.
And that's exactly what the Lynx wanted.
And they did. So here's the other thing that they need to do is defensively, because the defense is going to be back on the field. You're going to need to put 3 safeties high, okay, and put them about at least 20 yards down the field, okay? The only thing you watch out for is they have some speed, and I'm talking about O'Gorman from the wide receiver position, that run after the catch if you're not making good tackles. That's the chess match you got to play as a defensive coordinator, is you got to play a prevent, but how much of a prevent do you play?
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to give them too much of a cushion, because we talk about a 15-yard pass over the middle can turn into a touchdown real quick with yards after the catch.
Well, this is going to be Carson Mashlin's biggest punt of his life, as the Lynx are trying to get to 1-1 on the season. After losing last week by 2 to the number 1 team in the state, the Roosevelt Rough Riders.
And they're going to come after that punt.
Yes, they are.
They're going to try to exploit what they have exploited twice on special teams, with the block punt in the first quarter and the blocked extra point in the second quarter. And so we talked about how they are going to improve on special teams so far in the second half. Special teams have been pretty good. But it's now the next play.
Yeah.
And you got to, if you're talking to that special teams unit, the front lines really got to block, especially where they're getting a lot of pressures off the edges. And so you almost put those edge guys a little bit wider here,
Well,
just to give a little extra push. But they're going to bring the offense back in the field.
Lucas Slack is on the field. The Lynx still have 1 timeout. So they're just going to run the ball here. Slack's going to throw it, actually. Throws it right, incomplete with 20 seconds to go.
So that's going to give them the ball at the 39-yard line.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that play. I don't hate that call.
Well,
I mean, I don't love it.
It kind of tells me that they're not trusting their punt team right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it kind of.
I think that's fair.
That's what it's telling me. But I don't mind that call either. It's going to take. It took 6 seconds off the clock. It did give them probably a little bit better field position than they would have had.
They got to go. They got to go 61 yards in 20 seconds, and there's a bad snap, and the ball is loose, and it's picked up by the Knights. I believe it was Eddie Mailer, and that is how the game will. Well, now we got an injury with 5 seconds left. So the game was about to end. That was about 10 feet over the head of Tegan Schlimgen,
Injury timeout.
whose name I've been having trouble with. I apologize if any of his family's watching. Tegan Schlimgen. But that was about 10 feet over his head.
Yeah, it was a bad snap, and we've seen that a couple times in this ball game. They have really, really put the ball on the ground a lot in this game. I'm talking about O'Gorman. Wow.
So 5 seconds here. Last play of the game. Here we go.
No pass interference here either.
And now we've got a flag. This is going to be a false start.
Penalty flag on the play.
1 second left.
Final snap. False start. Offense. Number 74. 5 seconds.
25-yard line, so now they got 75 yards to go. And they don't have a lot of time to do it.
5 seconds.
Here we go. 5 seconds left. Going deep. It is caught.
And that'll
the
do
game,
it.
Yep, the game is over. So the Lynx down 7-0 in the first half. They scored 20 in a row before giving up a late touchdown, and they moved to 1-1 after a big defensive effort. And the offense started clicking later in the first half, and the Lynx are going to hold on and win this one 20-14.
What a big game!
Yeah.
It's your next, your next game. We've harped on it a lot in this telecast. Is that it's the next game? So now the next game is the most important, and you took care of this game. You're 1-0 in week 2. Okay, and so now it's the next big game, and we know with this team, we've gotten better from last week to this week. And that's hats off to the coaching staff. They have done a tremendous job for years, Coach Garrow and his staff, of building this team's momentum throughout the season. And I've seen a completely different football team this week than I saw last week, to be honest with you. Offensively, defensively, we played well. But offensively, it was a tale of two halves. I get it.
Yep.
But it was 100 times better than last week through the air. The ground game wasn't – I mean, Tate did well tonight, but we saw the maturity of the sophomore in Slack.
Yep.
2 touchdown passes, 1 interception, okay, in the first quarter. But we'll live with that if you're also going to throw 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
At
And
big
he
time